Hey guys, this is Carmen from Carmen Eagleman Fitness, and I just wanted to jump on live to talk about part 3 of time-saving tips in the kitchen. And today we're going to talk about meal prepping, right? So you made your list, that was part 1. You went to the grocery store, that was part 2. And I gave you some tips on how to navigate the grocery store, pick produce, and now it's part 3, meal prepping in the kitchen and having some time-saving tips that way. So meal prepping looks a little different for everyone, depending on what your lifestyle is. I know for me as a stay-at-home mom, I don't actually have to meal prep dinners. I am able to, I'm home, whether I want to actually cook dinner or not is a different story. But when I am home to be able to cook dinner. So for me, meal prep looks more about prepping my veggies and stuff during the day when I'm kind of on the go or it's crazy with the kids and I want a snack or would rather grab something that's easy and probably not as healthy out of the pantry. But maybe you're someone who has kids that are in sports or in extracurricular activities and you're not home during dinner, or it's really rushed and so you need to maybe freeze meals or make them ahead of time so that you or another family member can pop them in the oven, so that you still have a healthy homemade cooked meal, right? Or maybe throw it in the crock pot. Crock pots are mom's lifesavers. Or maybe you work 12 to 14 hour days and you need to prep your whole day's worth a week at a time. So either way, whatever it is, I have some tips for you to be able to save some time in meal prepping and maybe even just give you some ideas if you've never done it. I know for some people it can seem a little overwhelming in the beginning and they shy away from it, but I promise you that meal prepping can and does work for everyone, and it's key to your success if you're wanting to eat healthier and stay on track during the week. So first things first, veggies. One of the things that I love to do with my veggies is to wash them, slice and dice them. So even if it's veggies that I might just snack on, I also like to do this for my meals. It makes it so much easier. How easy is it to walk into the kitchen to make dinner and you already have everything already diced and sliced for you and you can just throw it together, right? It makes it a lot easier. I also would do this for my eggs in the morning because I am so that person. If I have to stop and wash veggies, like to make a salad or to make my eggs, I'm kind of like, well, what can I do to not do that? I know it's lazy, right? But that's just me. That's realistic. Or I will snack on, my kids' food because I'm dreading making my meal because it's a couple extra steps that I have to take. So I get that done all in the beginning of the week. You can pre-portion those so that it's easy just to grab. With fruits, it's the same thing. I don't slice them up because they tend to go bad or they'll brown and not look as nice, right? So I just wash them. Even if you're buying organic, you still want to wash because it's got dirt and stuff on there. So you want to make sure that you're washing that, and you can do that by filling up part of your sink and putting vinegar in it, and it helps to get all that stuff off. Or you can, if you have a veggie wash, that's nice too. Either way works. So I will wash them, dry them, and put them in mason jars, and it's easy for us just to grab. Again, that's something that you can pre-portion into snack baggies. So you're essentially kind of making your own like fast food, right? Like you can just grab it out and put it in your lunch bag or throw it in your purse so that you have a healthy snack or meal. Next would be carbs, or proteins, I'm sorry. So I like to batch cook up like some seasoned ground beef or turkey or chicken, whatever your preference is. Hard-boiled eggs is another great one. That is a big hit with our family. The girls love them. We love them. They're easy. They stay in the fridge really well. Hard-boiled eggs, they travel really well. So it's just a great protein option. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Chicken, you can grill up chicken. Grilling up, especially in the summertime, it works really well. You can choose different marinades to keep it, to change it up, and not have a variety and not get stale of having chicken every week. So I pick one or two. I don't do a whole bunch because sometimes when you have way too much, you end up wasting. So I pick one or two just kind of depending on what I feel like. I really don't batch cook up or prep fish because I have to have fresh fish. Yeah, fish fresh that day, and I don't like warming it up. It's one of my weird quirks. I can't do that. So I personally don't prep fish ahead of time. I will cook it in the moment for dinner. Moving on to carbs is another one that I like to prep. I am a big sweet potato fan, so I like to cook those up. You can bake them in the oven, put some foil around them, and bake, depending on their size, about 40 minutes to an hour. And you can put this in while you're baking chicken, grilling chicken. That's another time-saving tip, is to cook things in the oven at the same time, so you're not having to wait, and it's less time in the kitchen. So I will, like I said, I'll either bake them whole and mash them up, take them out of the skins, mash them up, put them in a container, throw some cinnamon on them. That is really good. Or I will slice and dice them. Throw some minced garlic on there with a little parsley. You can even maybe add a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Super yummy. I love them. Rice grains, so any rice, quinoa, I like to cook that with broth. It gives it a little bit of flavor. So if you're someone who's kind of like, oh, that's boring, try it with broth. You can even try it with half water, half broth. I do it fully in broth, and I love it. I can eat it plain. I can throw it on a salad. You know what I mean? The possibilities are endless. Healthy fats, a lot of them are already kind of pre-made, so you don't have to do too much, but like hummus, cheeses and stuff like that, you can easily grab. But I like to actually make my own trail mixes. Again, this is another hit with the family. The girls love it, and it's something that you can pre-portion. And again, grab, throw in your purse, and when hunger hits, you've got a nice healthy fat to satiate you. A yummy treat too. And sometimes I'll even throw in little pieces of chocolate in there too. So, right? You have to have balance. So, if you are someone who is making dinners ahead of time, and you're making, all your dinners or whatever, a tip that I always do when I'm doing that is to chop everything up in the beginning. So your onions, your garlic, anything, like I look at all my recipes and I look, okay, what do I need to do? Chop up herbs, chop up veggies, fruits, whatever it calls for, all in the beginning, because again, it's the same thing that I do for when I go to make them later in the week, but you're doing it right then and there, is to just be able to you can move on from one meal to the next, right? This allows you to spend less time in the kitchen. Another tip would be to batch cook. So if you are making a meal, double it, and then you can freeze it. A lot of meals are freezer friendly, but you can definitely look ahead of time. But make a double batch and put that sucker in the freezer, and then it's two birds with one stone, right? I mean, you're taking the time to make it anyways. Doubling it doesn't take that much more time, and now you have a meal that you can pull out of the freezer on those nights that it's crazy, or on the nights that we don't feel like cooking, which happens a lot, right? I mean, I'm just speaking the truth. And then so it helps with saving time. So batch cooking is a huge thing that I like to do. Crock pots, you could throw it in the freezer meals, you could throw it in the crock pot in the morning, come home, and you've got a great meal. Or your older daughter or son or husband can do the same thing, or pop it in the oven. So these are all great tips for saving time in the kitchen when it comes to meal prepping. I hope that you have found them helpful, and that it has encouraged you to either change some things up or get started on your meal prepping. Again, this is Carmen from Carmen Eagleman Fitness, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.